Spin them up. We good? We good here? All right, we're going to call this meeting to order, everybody. I'm Bill Kanda, the Custer County Board Chairman. And would you please silence your phones first of all, because I'll forget to tell you if I don't do it now. Today's Thursday, January the 30th, 2025, and time now is 9:01. If you have any questions, we'll make sure that they're taken care of. Would you please state your name and then ask your question. All right, would you please stand for the pledge? And Debbie, would you start it for us?
Sure. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please sit down with me and let us pray. Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for all our blessings and ask that you please bless this meeting of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. Strengthen us with wisdom, patience, kindness, and goodness so that we can solve today's problems and complexities. We pray especially for the victims in the crash in Washington, D.C. and their families. We pray for the repose of the souls of all those who perished in that terrible accident. We ask for your blessings for our people. We bless our great county and our country. Grant us the grace to ask what you would have us do and the spirit of wisdom to keep us safe from all false choices. That in your light we may see light, and as we convene this board 4 and 2 for the service of Custer County citizens, we ask this in our name, the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, roll call.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Beck.
Present.
Mr. Bolton.
Here.
And Clerk Board President.
Okay, audience introductions. Let's start with Kate.
BOCC admin Moore.
James Gilbert.
Deb Adams, Custer County Tourism.
Speak loud.
Big Cloud. John Van Dorn, Custer County.
There you go.
Tourism.
And remind us to speak loud too. It's
Yeah.
okay. Till we get it.
Shepherd, Custer County Tourism Board Treasurer.
Wade Pettis, Custer County Tourism Board.
Jeremiah Coleman with Portland Fire.
Bob Bolton, 303 South Second Street, beautiful Westwood, Colorado.
Perfect, Ed.
Lauren Austin, Westcliff Suites.
Westcliff what?
Suites.
Bob Smith, Custer County Human Resources Risk Management.
How many are online?
10.
Okay, well, when they ask for help, raise their hand, let me know, and we will introduce them. Okay, any amendments to the agenda, guys? Lucas?
I don't believe so.
No names.
Okay, I have a quick one. I want to move the consideration of, where'd it go? Justice Center right there. Yeah, it's about 5 of them. There was a request for a consideration of the Justice Center agendas and meeting minutes to have that discussion. We're going to not do that today. We have an open records request that is being worked just for that purpose with the team. And I'll make sure that, I think it was Jimmy McMahon.
Yes, it was.
That. And so we will make sure he's invited to the same meeting that Joy Anderson is collecting all that data. We just got the rest of that data in here recently from the district clerk. Is that okay?
Is that, yeah, just to add to that, is that, or just a question about that, was that a county sanctioned committee, or did that committee come out of?
No, it's county.
That's county? So when we get this information gathered up, can we get this to the clerk and get it posted on the website?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, that's what we're going to do. Also, I'm going to get a couple people, bring you two guys up to speed one at a time, because you haven't been involved in it. And so we'll let a couple people that participate in that go through that data that I've collected. Then if there are any questions that we want to discuss as a board, we can get together in a workshop or something before we start the next round.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're removing that?
Yeah, we'll remove it. Any other thoughts on that?
Still have.
No.
Okay, approval of the minutes. Got a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes for January 23rd, 2025 meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. January 23rd, 2025. Thank you, Keller. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye. Next up, Commissioner items. How about you, Paul?
No, just learning a lot and, trying to meet everybody. Yeah, I'll be out there to meet all the department heads and board people. Look forward to it.
Thanks. Please.
So, we kind of found out something at CCI that we didn't kind of know, or at least I think we were a little uninformed about.
Actually.
But because the commissioners are over DHS, we're also mandatory reporters. And so Vicki White is going to set up training for the 3 commissioners for the mandatory reporter action for both CPS and APS, so Child Protection Services, Adult Protection Services. So we'll get that training here coming up. And then I've talked to our public health director, and there's Board of Health training that we have to have every year. Right now with the funding status of the federal government, they're kind of in flux and they're busy trying to figure out what's going to happen there. So we haven't gotten the response back to set up that training, but we're going to have that training coming up, as well as the HIPAA training that we need for sitting here in this position. So those are the trainings that are kind of coming up. I also did talk to the public health director about what her department could look like and several different options that we went through if this funding starts to waiver or what happens. So most of this funding is on a July 1st to June 30th rotation. So so far it's looking like we're at least good through the month of June, but we'll see what happens. Custer County Kids Council's kind of in the same boat, and we think we're good through at least June 30th of 2026, but it all remains to be seen. UACOG had a $600,000, just under $600,000 Head Start program reimbursement for the last 6 months of last year, and that got held up, but it looks like that's going through as of right now, but we'll see what happens. And other than that, I mean, other than talking to Beth Lenz, who is our UACOG grant manager, some with DOLA, some emails that I got through on DOLA and some other grant organizations, it's kind of all up in the air and nobody knows quite what's going to happen. So I wish I had more answers, but I truly don't. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there and we'll adjust. But we're kind of starting to strategize a little bit. If certain things go away, what are we going to do? What does it look like? And what may we have to do with some county funds and pass-through funds. So it's kind of where we're at with that.
Okay, let me tag on to that because I've been doing some research as well when I was working with the airport board grants as well. If the funds have been obligated, we're okay. It's federal funding that's the issue, and it's what the state has done with that federal funding and how they spent that across all the state agencies. So that's the hard part, is to sort out what grant we got was funded with federal grants or not that are out there outstanding. But I think from what I've seen, we're pretty secure. For example, we're going to have a discussion on the airport fencing, gate fabrication improvement that we've got going, and that's 100% funded by, or 10% obligated by the county match. And the rest of it's 90% from the State Department of Transportation and the Aviation Group. So we'll learn more about that, and you'll see that the funding is secured and been obligated for what we're going to do with this contract. That's the good news. That's my report too. And we'll know more about the contract here later. And Dan just got in. Dan, did you have anything for the report?
For my report?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I was here on the property on time, but I got stuck in court. So I was, sitting in my driver's seat in court. So but I was technically on.
You were there.
So I apologize for walking in late. I did send you all an email about a statewide issue that some counties are having with CCAP funding in the Department of Human Services. It doesn't sound like it's an issue for Custer County, but, and this is more for the public's benefit since you already know this, the state is not adequately funding CCAP funding, which is a benefit program for families and children. But they are requiring counties to make up that difference out of the county's general fund, which is illegal. And so Larimer County is taking the lead on basically demanding a mediation with the state about that, since we can't sue the state on that point. And we just need to make a decision about whether we want to join that demand for mediation. There's some argument that there's power in numbers, even though it doesn't appear that that issue is going to directly affect us. It wouldn't be a bad idea from my perspective for us to at least put our name on the list that says we object to the state basically illegally saying counties need to spend their own money to fund a state program.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do, we should.
Okay. That's all.
Anything come to mind?
Can I make a comment with respect to the connection between what the attorney was talking about and what you guys were just talking about grant money?
Go ahead.
Since the state apparently is involved in causing funds for the county, and the federal government is attempting to directly impact monies coming to the county. Wouldn't it be a good idea for the board to file a letter with the federal government protesting the administration's illegal attempt to stop federal grant funding? With respect to this county being very conservative, very red, very supportive of the administration, I think it would be very powerful for this county to say, hey, you can't do that. Do it through the authority you have, which is the budgetary process, and leave our monies alone, just like you're doing with the state.
Yeah, good thought, thanks. We'll talk about it. All right, thanks for being here on time and for the report. Caitlin, you got anything for us?
No.
All right, no unfinished business, you got anything to bring up?
Not for unfinished, no, sir.
No.
All right, accounts payable are up on the table. We've got quite a bunch of accounts this time. Lucas, you had a couple points.
Yeah, so, if you have questions about this, I'm just gonna roll through some of the high dollar number ones. $60,000 for a payout, for a deductible on I guess a judgment, that CTSI made for us.
Settlement.
And a settlement, so, if you have questions about that settlement, I guess if you wanna talk briefly about it, Dan, just.
I don't remember which one that is, quite frankly.
Taser.
The taser incident.
Oh, yeah, especially because it involves a minor. There was an incident with the sheriff's department involving a minor and an allegation of excessive force that we had to settle.
Yeah.
I think that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, and this was in 22,
Okay,
right?
It's been
a couple of years,
years,
but almost 3 years ago. So that just got settled. So that's the biggest amount on here. I just, because it's gonna hit the paper, so I just wanted to get out there ahead of time, just so people could, like, what is going on here? A lot of this is payroll things. There was a dump trailer for an amount of just under $13,000 for OEM. But those were kind of the the big ticket items. I just kind of wanted to get it out there just so that you kind of have big picture items. So otherwise, it was a pretty big amount this month. We get front end loaded with a lot of our insurances, a lot of our fees, a lot of our memberships, and the first couple months are kind of rough, and then it evens out, and then all of a sudden Road and Bridge starts spending money in the summertime, so it goes back up again, and then it starts mellowing out again, so.
Yeah, the report's 52 pages long, $364,981.79. And Lucas is 100% right, we got hit with all the fees that are normally coming in this time. Road and Bridge has been doing well, and we're gonna talk more about that in the future, what they got planned. Anything, Paul?
No.
You saw?
No, those will be bringing it up.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable, the total amount is $365,681.79.
Yeah, how did I get to $1,000 difference?
$700 difference, it's because there was 2 more that were added late, in an amount of $700.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I'll second that motion.
Get the amount, Kelly? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the AP report for the sum total of
$5,681.79.
All in favor? Any discussion? Any other discussion? Any questions out? This will be available. All right. All in favor, Lucas?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And I.
Yeah, it's published in the Tribune Monthly, so.
Okay. Next up is the fire report from the fire chief himself. Come on up, Chairman. Chief.
Use your table here.
No, let's go ahead.
All right.
Pulling
Pull
around
a chair
here.
if you want to.
Get a chair and come.
You're coming.
Actually, it'd be good if we had a chair here and you can face
Yeah.
them.
And I'm sitting at this corner.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That way you can project out. Keep trying.
Morning.
So we get a microphone.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, this is a presentation by the fire chief, 2024 stats.
Yes, sir. It's a pretty busy year. I think I sent you guys kind of some of the stats that we've had. The first one I have is kind of the breakdown of kind of our calls by personnel. Since I've been on for about 14 years now, this year is the most calls that I recall us having. We're at 340 total calls for the year. First page just kind of show the personnel and how many calls each personnel went on. The biggest one, Captain Moose, he actually made 125 calls this year, just himself as a volunteer, so I thought that was pretty huge. Next one is the incident count by month, kind of shows March is our kind of our slowest month for last year with 15 calls in that month, and then July being our busiest with 43 calls that month. It's a new system, reporting system we're using now, so trying to get all these reports is a little different than our past ones. After that, we have the incident types that we kind of run on, and how many per incident type, so fires, different structure fires, grass fires, wildland, stuff like that. We had a total of 16 of those this last year. Rescue and EMS calls, that's motor vehicle accidents and assisting with Custer EMS. 108 calls, hazardous conditions, that's gas leaks, I think is one of our bigger ones, and then flight for life calls. We're 90 of those total. Service calls.
Before you do that,
Okay.
Jeremy, how, in your fire points you brought up, you had 3 building incidents, building fires, were they
Yeah.
homes or were they barns?
I believe 2 were kind of homes, and one was an apartment building, a dryer caught fire, and then one was a big hay barn, kind of arena area, and then I think another one was a
You
structure.
guys are doing a good job. I was just wondering if it made a difference that you were able to help stop a lot of that in time. Some of it you
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
get to.
Yeah, a couple of them, well, one for sure, one of those, the barn fire, it's a little tough to stop hay when it catches fire. It goes pretty fast. The other 2, the apartment building and stuff, kept it maintained with just the dryer itself. I can't recall the other structure.
On that front, is that like an electric motor fire, or was that a big vent fire that, for the?
Well, they didn't allow us to investigate it,
Okay.
but
I just,
from my experience and the contents we had pulled out of the dryer, it was more of a contents fire.
yeah.
Some kind of
Spontaneous.
accelerant. Kind of seemed like some kind of a possible accelerant on
Okay.
some shop racks, something like that. Yep, service calls, that's not too bad this year. We do get called out by Humane Society, stuff like that, to help water livestock when they don't have it, stuff like that. Helping the sheriff's office. We had 25 total service calls. Good intent calls, that's mainly people smoke alarms going off, we'll go test them. We carry batteries on our apparatus if their battery's bad, we'll give them the battery to replace it. Inform them if they're out of date, stuff like that. A lot of, controlled burns and stuff that get called in. So we had 70 of those. Let's see, false alarms, that's also kind of smoke detectors, more if they're bad. We get there's no smoke in the house, no combustible gases, anything like that, it's just a bad alarm. Or if we're en route, end up getting stood down, kind of deal. So we had 28 of those.
Speak up a little more.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's hard.
I'm not used to,
I'm not.
yelling. Last time I was in here, I lost my voice because I was trying to talk to people, so. Last one is severe weather, natural disasters. We had 2 of those. One of them being the rock slide. That was the first for me. It was kind of interesting to deal with, yeah.
Usually see it after the fact.
Yeah. So we got 2 of those last year. So that brings us to the 340. The next one I have is kind of just a breakdown of mutual aid we have given and received. So we've given, this last year, we've given mutual aid 15 times. That's just our surrounding partners. We do have mutual aid with all of Fremont County, Wetmore, and then also all of Pueblo County. So we requested mutual aid and received it 5 times this year. A lot of those were like weekdays, a lot of weekdays. It's kind of myself and a couple other guys that are retired on their own business are kind of the main responders during those. So we utilize mutual aid a lot during the work weeks. Then also the big incidents, structure fires, big extrications, mass casualty type stuff, we'll call mutual aid. That's all I had for handouts for you guys. I did find in our new software, our average response time last year, I believe, was just under 8 minutes from dispatch to en route. This year we were at 6 minutes and 30 seconds from dispatch to first unit out the door.
The new whips you procured worked.
Yeah. We did get 2 I do have 2 battalion chiefs on the department. Each one of those have a take-home SUV, kind of a command center. So that's helping our times getting a chief out the door, heading to the scene first, and making the calls. On top of that, the new whips you're talking about, last January, we had purchased a new Type 3 engine through BME Fire Apparatus out of Boise, Idaho. I was just out there last week to do the final inspection. We should be receiving that about the 2nd week of February, and then it'll probably take a good month to get it outfitted and everything. Be a pretty cool apparatus. It'll be our first Type 3 we've ever had up here. We're going to use it kind of a dual purpose structure fire / wildland truck.
What's the difference, that might?
More the gallons. This one will have 500 gallons on it with a 1,000 GPM pump on it, primary pump. Yeah, let's see, it's
Out of that tank and a half of it.
Yeah, we got to pump it up there, and it's impressive. It was put down the water. It'll be a 2024 Freightliner. Doing the research and stuff, they kind of had the best deals and the best turnaround. Everywhere else I looked was a minimum 3 years turnaround to have it built. And then this was the last of the Freightliners for the year 2024, which cut us a deal. They're predicting their 2027 models, which would be the next available to us, would be probably another $100,000 just for the chassis. We had bought the truck for $566,944. So they are getting one more pricey.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, I'll have the 1,000 GPM water ice pump with 275 gallon GPM auxiliary pump on it for pump and roll for us. We are outfitting it with some custom stuff for SCBA seats. We'll have a turret put on the front. So paying a little extra for that, but it's a pretty exciting truck to have. I'll shoot an email over when we have it here if you guys want to come check it out. Other than that, we did sell 4 apparatus this year. Just kind of our aging apparatus. Some of them standards, because a lot of the membership can't drive standards anymore. And it's just stuff that wasn't passing pump test, stuff like that anymore for NFPA standards. We still have the 6 stations up and going.
What are your 6 stations?
So we have the bay out at the airport. Right now it just has a Type 6 engine in it. Me and the sheriff have been talking. He actually just put in for a good engine, kind of built more for airports, and keep putting in for that through Fort Carson. So if he's successful on that, placing that out there. We have Rosita with 2 apparatus, a Type 6 and a Class 8 pumper. Let's see, Boneyard.
Class 6 is for brush fire, right?
Yeah, the Type 6 is, brush fire, yeah. Boneyard right now, we just have a Type 6 out there. We had sold that tender that was out there. It's carried 4,000 gallons, but it couldn't pull itself out of the bay door with full 4,000 gallons on it. We always kept it half full because they could at least get around a little bit, but sold that and eventually replaced that with a better, maybe another Type 3 to go out there, dual purpose truck. Let's see, we have Lake Louise, we have a Type 6 and a rescue with 2 boats out there. Hillside, we don't have anything in that station right now because I don't have any responders in that area. We do have one guy that just recently joined that's out closer to that area. So once this Type 3 comes in, we'll be switching an engine from our main station to go out to that station. At our main station, we have 2 tactical tenders, our rescue, 2 Type 6 engines, a Type 1, and soon to be this Type 3. So, other than that, we're sitting about 25 volunteers. We've been sitting pretty steady with that. Have lost a couple people to better opportunities elsewhere. But we're keeping our numbers pretty steady. We've gotten a lot younger. I think when I first joined, our median age was probably in the mid-50s. I think now we're probably mid-20s. So a lot of young energy, a lot of training going on. We're sending guys all over the place for training. Let's see, we do still have our shift program. This last year in 2024, we didn't have a single shift without at least an officer on shift. So we had an officer on 24/7, 365 last year. Working on trying to do the same thing this year. Those we did up the pay on those. We're still doing some more studies. To keep the volunteer status, we have to stay under 20% of what a career firefighter comparable to our department would make. So right now, firefighters are making $75 per 12-hour shift, up to 10 shifts a month. The officers are making $85 an hour per 12-hour shift. We do have a drone program. This will be the 2nd year we're purchasing a 2nd drone. Infrared, stuff like that. We've utilized that on many calls, assisting SO, search and rescue, even ourselves. So we're purchasing a 2nd one of those, and then we're in the process of trying to figure out how to come up with kind of a shift deal for the drone also. So when we know when we have a pilot available and when we don't. My drone coordinator, he's actually also working with search and rescue. I'm trying to help them get their drone program up and going. Let's see. Other than that, our board did approve some finalized plans for the remodel for the station. Now they're in discussions on when they want to put it out for bid. The big discussion now is how we're gonna fund this project. We've changed it up a bunch to try to lower the cost, but we're still thinking it's gonna be probably over $1 million. That's one thing we're trying to do ourselves to help with like workforce housing. Give people housing in exchange for volunteer services type deal. So other than that, I think that's all I really have. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me.
Lucas, you got any more?
No, I appreciate your
I have
presentation.
2, does the jet fuel coming to the airport have any additional training requirements or anything for the fire team?
Not really much more requirements. We still handle hazmat. We do have mutual aid with Colorado State Patrol hazmat. We all have him on speed dial. Other than that, all the phones that we carry on our truck are capable for jet fuel stuff like that. So.
They had like 2 different classes or whatever.
We're carrying it's a A, B, and C, I believe.
Right.
So we went with, instead of just having one class for a certain type fire, we went with 3 classes that'll manage a lot more for us. So, a little pricier, but does 3 times as much.
Does
so.
the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is your support equipment for filling bottles and everything. How are those dated, or do you have the equipment you need to operate effectively, or are they getting outdated?
Yeah, with SCBA, our Cascade system that fills the bottles and everything, that's still up and running great. We get it serviced a couple times a year. Our SCBA bottles, are still in date. We just purchased, I think, 12 of those, 12 more last year.
Inventory,
Yeah.
newer models.
The issue we're kind of running into right now is the packs. We carry the Scott packs. The original ones we bought 15 years ago
Yeah.
are now outdated.
Right.
We did, with our junior program, we send the juniors up to Adams College, I believe, or Ames College. And they do all the SEK structure stuff and a little training academy up there. Ames College did just donate probably 20 of their older packs to us. But those, before too long, are gonna be outdated also. We're getting quotes and demos and stuff right now of different styles of packs.
Yeah, bunker gear and everything for.
Yes, we did, also with bunker gear, we did just purchase 12 new sets of bunker gear. We got those purchased with last year's budget. It saved us, the price on bunker gear went up about 5% this year. So we're able to save a pretty good chunk of change by purchasing them last year. So we do have everybody in compliant gear right now, but my ultimate goal is to get everybody in 2 sets of gear. Right now, I was successful with a DFPC grant last year, gave us $20,000, and we purchased a decon machine to help us prevent carcinogens staying in our gear, stuff like that. My next battle is, getting everybody a second gear. A lot of guys and gals are going on fires and don't want to wash their gear because then they're out of service till their gear's done. So trying to mitigate that, with everybody getting a second set where they can stay in service.
Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome.
Got a quick one, and then we'll open it up if anybody else has one. Airport Bay is where you're parking the ops building is where you're parking the fire engine out there at the airport.
Yes, sir.
At some point, strategic plan wise, we need to get another building for you guys out there so we can get the ops building back for the airport use.
Okay.
So be thinking about that when you're remodeling things and building that we can certainly put it together, some help on where it needs to be located. We ought to probably look at that where it might make some sense. It's necessary not only for the airport, but for the Colonel Verde and for the subdivisions that are out there and all the people that are out there. That fire truck's important to have there.
Yes.
And maybe even a bigger one.
Yes. ISO ratings alone would be huge. Past chiefs have done a lot of studies.
Yeah, and then without you there, the cost of insurance out there would be out of sight too. So it's important that you're there.
Yes, sir.
Drone certified, are they FAA certified pilots, or are they just certified on that particular model of the drone?
They're FAA.
FAA, I know.
Yeah. They're the Part 107
Yeah.
certified.
Yeah, that's a regular pilot's license that they get certified for by the FAA.
Yes.
I heard the guys on TV saying the same thing. They were saying FFA, and I don't know if you want a farmer on the drone or not.
Well, we got one, but he's licensed. He's licensed there too.
Okay.
His part-time job is a pilot.
Okay, so I would ask you to get with Brian Anderson, the chairman, and come up with a strategic plan where we can put grants together and other funding as it evolves to get another building for you.
Okay. Brian Anderson, you said?
Chairman of the board.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions I
got
another
one
one?
more. So, or maybe more of a statement, but with more and more electric vehicles, now my neighbor has a Tesla Cybertruck, so, and the other neighbors think about getting one, so have you gotten the blankets?
We have not purchased the blankets yet. We have brought in trainers to train us with the blankets. There's still no proper way that studies have found on how to put one out. Our policy right now is to let them burn.
Watch them.
Yeah,
Get 'em out
take
where
care of the exposures and
not
let them
gonna
burn.
do any damage, but to get them in the open.
Yeah.
To monitor.
Yeah, the studies I've seen, it's taken at least 30,000 gallons of water to extinguish them. And then, even then, you're not 100%.
It's still, it's hot, it's still
Yes.
nightly.
Oh,
Yes.
it's unbelievable.
So we are looking at getting a couple blankets, they're about $2,500 a piece. And then they also come up with, they have some specialty nozzles. They kind of come on wheels, one, it's
Sort
kind of
like
a
an
tube.
underfog type.
Yeah, under fog one, and then one that'll kind of fog the top also. Reason of getting those would be, something's in the garage, we can't really get access to get it drug out, we can at least throw a blanket over it.
Keep it from spreading.
Yeah, until we come up with a game plan, yes.
Okay. Questions out there? Go ahead, state your name.
Hi, my name is Kathy Griffin, and I don't know if this is an appropriate question for here or not, but I've only been in the valley for about 9 years, but I remember years ago hearing about how the fire chief did a lot of work to get, I think it was an ISO rating, like improvement to help with homeowners insurance. And I'm just hearing that a lot of people are having problems getting homeowners insurance and keeping it now. And I'm wondering if you have any updates on that.
That's kind of a nationwide thing that I'm seeing. California is a prime example from recently. Their insurance companies, a lot of them completely dropped them before these recent fires. I am seeing a lot more of that in our area, just wildfire is such a big risk. People struggling to get insurance, having to pay higher premiums. One thing we could really do is they base a lot of it, like in town here, they base it off the hydrants that we have. Out in the county where we don't have hydrants, they base it off of kind of the nearest fire station and then what type of apparatus is in that station.
And fire suppression ponds, right?
Yes, once we can finally get.
We've got a couple that
rolling.
works, but
Yeah.
and some other ponds that you do use.
Yeah, so that's been a big ongoing task is keeping up with the engines and the ongoing price of those, but then also trying to do studies on where we can strategically put stations to house apparatus to benefit the most people, as many as we can. It's going to be an ongoing thing. I know a lot of insurances will sign off on fire mitigation. We do provide mitigation consults for a small fee, but we don't do the mitigation ourselves. But we do get a lot of that pretty often. Insurance companies requesting a letter from us to say that we've inspected it and has defensible space, that we would do what we could to save the residents per se. But yeah, other than that, it's just a big ongoing research battle and money battle. Try to do what we can to position this stuff to help out as many people as we can.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Go ahead.
John Van Dorn, West Cliff, beautiful West Cliff. Just have a question. I've been working on our CWPP with OEM and on the Colorado State Wildfire Risk Viewer. It does not show your district. It only shows Beulah's district. I do have a map that shows your district, but the eastern part of the county is not covered by your district according to that map. So I believe we have 3 other fire protection districts, Wetmore, a little bit of Beulah, Rye, that cover the rest of the county, which also has their own list of incidents and equipment and issues. Did I get that right, one? And do you have a map that shows the coverage, complete coverage of the county for the 4 fire protection districts?
Yeah, that is correct. We cover everything from the south border to the north border, to the top of the peaks, and then all the way down to Highway 165.
Yeah.
We kind of made that our borderline. We take all car accidents and fires incidents on the highway west, and then Wetmore, Beulah, I take everything east and south from there. So I do have a map that shows our department's complete district, and then, kind of a little bit of the departments that border us.
Okay.
Good. Any others, any online? Okay. All right, thanks, Jeremiah,
sir.
good job.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys.
Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yep, stay warm out there. Thank you.
All right, next up, tourism.
Can I interrupt you for just a minute here?
Yeah.
So, this just came through from Michael Kroll, who's the Fremont County OEM Director. There is a fatal accident on Highway 115 between Penrose and Colorado Springs. There's an unknown ETA for reporting that stretch, for reopening that stretch of roadway. And so all northbound traffic from Fremont County to Colorado Springs is being diverted, or at least directed eastbound on Highway 50 towards Pueblo. So, just so you know.
Okay, thanks. All right, Deb, who's doing it? John? John's up.
John's my man.
Yeah, way to go. All right, speak up, John.
We got the short straw.
Is that it?
Well, not until Matt.
Okay. Caitlin, you gonna drive this presentation for me? Picture of airplanes, so I'm gonna bury the lead, we'll go for the next.
That's a nice picture, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great picture, isn't it? So, I just want to give a little background on tourism, I think helpful, especially for Paul. Lucas and Bill, and quite a bit about the history here. We are funded by us lodging tax, and have been since 2008, when I first joined the board, year and a half ago. I created this chart. I wanted to see basically with data, how we doing as a tourism group. I think if you want to look at one metric, and only one, there's lots of other ones if you want to dive into the weeds, this is the one to look at. And so it clearly shows that we've been doing a fairly decent job with the tourism group in terms of growing lodging tax. It's a little bit choppy, but the trend line is definitely going in the right direction. 2024, tourism was down statewide. We still did pretty decent even last year. Next one, Caitlin.
And can I add, just that's a 2% housing tax, and it's capped at 2%. Lodging tax, yeah. Thanks.
So, for now.
Yes.
It could change.
May I just interject, would you go back to the chart? So the thing that really put Custer County on the map was COVID. Custer County was one of the top 5 counties in Colorado that did so well. So, you know, we were always around 55,000 once we became a dark sky community. And then you can see in 2021, and then even in 2023 was off the charts. But COVID made Custer County discovered.
Yeah, it's in a lot of people in our direction, for sure. What's the county's mission? I'm gonna take some liberties here because that's up to you to say what the mission is. we will have the off-season marketing plan in place by June. But we didn't want to wait until next year to do something about it. So we put some dollars in there now. Maybe it'll be 15 and we'll put another 5 into the airport. But this is still in the works now. We don't want to spend anything on the airport until we've got the fencing completed for the gates. So we want to have everything in place there. One thing I didn't mention is, that I didn't know, we have certified mechanics on site. And that's pretty cool. And then agritourism is the same thing. We're working on a plan and working with farmers and ranchers as to what that might look like. But we won't know exactly what that is probably until June or so. So we're putting dollars in it. Again, we don't want to wait until next year. We want to do it this year. We've got that reserve we need to spend down and get to a more reasonable level. Do I have another one? Yes. So, accounting issues that have come up in this cycle. Inconsistent, the recognition of lodging tax. We've been doing it on a calendar basis. It's kind of makes sense to me. The county's been doing it from March to February. So kind of a fiscal year kind of thing. I have no idea how that got started or why it is. I would recommend that we both get on a calendar year. That's how we do the county budgets. And so we're consistent. When I showed you that first slide, that was calendar year receipts. Payments in advance the period. We're going to take care of that in our budgeting and just show you what we're spending for this year for next year. And management recognition of lodging tax revenue. And that was my first comment initially. Let's be very upfront and intentional about what we plan on drawing on reserves and what that reserve level should be. We can argue about whether 50,000 is the right number. Certainly I just plucked out of the air, but it seems reasonable to me. Next one. Questions and hopefully answers.
Are we still off of Zoom? No, it's working for that.
No, thank you, John, for putting this together and for meeting with the airport board. We kind of have a gem there. So it's one of the only airports that in the Colorado Rockies that gives you access to a large swath of the south and Midwest part of the United States that you don't have to fly over mountains to get into. You come in from the south and it allows you not to have to fly over 11,000 feet, which concerns a lot of pilots flying aircraft. So I think that was kind of interesting that Brian brought that up.
It's a big deal.
About 5-6 years ago, we were probably close to losing our airport. And that board came together and really have put some things together to save the airport. There's a lot of Levitas trying to redo their airport. And because they let it go, the government, FAA, CDOT, all of them have said, no more money. You didn't keep it up, so we're not gonna put any more money into their airport. So they've lost their airport. The best they could do is rip up the runway that they have and turn it into a gravel runway. So we've joining the marketing forces together with tourism with the airport. We're hoping to help them out, update the information they have on the website that the county is managing and go from there and really help it out. So I think that's good. The agribusiness, we are not mentioned, right? Deb, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a huge publication out there in Colorado that talks about all of the farm to table produce farms that are out there, all the farmers markets that are out there. Custer County is not mentioned at all. So we'd like to put more focus on that because there's more and more people here that are putting farms together. They're putting vegetable gardens and whatever else they may sell for produce, putting it together. And I know it's part of Sunflower Patch's new owners. They're hoping to take more and more stuff that people produce and sell it in their place. So it's just bringing all the pieces together and all the different groups together to boost our experience here and our life here. So.
Just one of the things I found out about the airport when I went out and met everybody on my whirlwind to meet everybody at the board out there was that our airport's a little unique because of the way it is set up. We almost always have crosswinds.
No question.
And and I was asking them, well, when they're training new pilots and everything, they use it, and we almost always have a crosswind because of the direction that our runway runs. And also landing at our elevation is a challenge. And
Taking off is more of a challenge.
yes, with the wind even. So I learned a lot going out there and talking and everything because, just being at sea level for a long time, and it's totally different. So, but in that marketing, that would be part of it, is just saying, hey, all the instructors out there let them know that we're a prime area to come to train.
Mountain flying.
Yes.
Okay, I got a couple ones, and then we'll see if anybody else does, points to make. Pilots like to eat, like tourists like to eat places. And it's nice to find an airport with a restaurant on it. So entrepreneurial-wise, somebody ought to invest in one of those. It's a lot of fun to go fly somewhere, and some of our customer base is Denver, Centennial area, and Colorado Springs. They come down here for other sites and other things. So along that line, I would suggest, maybe, and we've talked about it before, is magnetic signs on our airport cars, which are freely used by people coming in here to come to town and spend their money in town. So, you can come up with some good signage to advertise, not just the food that's available there, but also our ag industry. Westcliff Meats, we are there's only 14 meat processing plants in the United States that are certified to grade prime. This is one of them. Mm-hmm. And so there is an ag business, hay and cattle and other things as well as the things that Lucas meant. So we are a very fortunate county to be multifaceted in everything we've got. So keep that in mind as well for spending some of that reserve on. Good. And go with maybe there's some things to promote the business out there. It's not just food kind of things, but you mentioned aircraft mechanics. Yes. We do have that. And there can be other businesses, aviation related kinds of things as well that could be brought out there. From outside in here to promote coming in here to get other people in. And that's my comment. Anybody else have some comments or questions for John? Good report. Go ahead.
I just want to let you know we are having a meeting with the airport board February 20th. We are having a meeting with Twyla Giroux and Bianca, who's the driver behind the ag thing. We're having that on February 4th. And then we also have another follow-up meeting with this destination development program. So I feel we are clicking on all cylinders.
Good. Okay. All right, thanks, John.
Thank you.
We'll move forward.
So with that, I will make a motion to move $58,188 out of fund balance reserves through a budget amendment resolution on February 13th. Is that the correct date? That meeting into tourism budget.
And so I will send Vernon the update. He told me how to correct it.
Okay.
Is that complete?
What was that?
It's not a motion, you're saying that you're gonna do a resolution at that meeting, right?
Right, so we just wait till that, we don't need a motion to. Okay.
That's a plan.
All right, well, I'll retract my motion.
Thank you,
I didn't
Dave.
hear a motion, I heard that you were gonna do a motion on February 13th.
Okay, all right.
So that was correct.
So we don't have a motion.
No.
Okay.
Okay, any other points, anybody? All right, now can we move on?
Yes, sir, you may move.
All right, let's talk recycles next. Resolution 2502, dissolution of the Custer County Recycling Board. Lucas?
Yeah, I'll read this out. Custer County Resolution number 25-02, a resolution disbanding the Custer County Recycling Committee. Whereas Custer County examined its limited resources for landfill disposal space, the Board of County Commissioners established a recycling committee to explore options for recycling from Custer County's residents. And whereas, as a result of the recycling committee's work, the Board of County Commissioners has established a full-time recycling program within the county government, which allows Custer County citizens to voluntarily recycle certain products. And whereas the recycling committee has advised the Board of County Commissioners that with the establishment of a county recycling program, the county has successfully accomplished the goals set forth in the establishment of the recycling committee. And in reaching these goals, the recycling committee no longer needs to continue as a standing committee of the Board of County Commissioners. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Custer County, Colorado wishes to disband the recycling committee in its successful completion of its work for the citizens of Custer County. Now therefore, let it be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County, Colorado, that one, the Board of County Commissioners hereby disbands the recycling committee for Custer County with the utmost thanks to its members for their service to the county, both past and present. Approved and adopted this 30th day of January 2025 at West Cliff, Colorado. I just want to say thank you again for all those, Joni Liebman, Tom Flower. There was a lot of people that put a lot of work into that. And it's not just a recycling center, it's a waste diversion center. It's diverting waste out of our landfill. It's prolonging the life of our landfill. And soon here, I hope to have what the 300, I think it was 308 bales this year that we shipped out of here that we sent either to Lawton, Oklahoma, or to Denisio's in Pueblo, or other places, and it didn't go into our landfill. So we're trying to put together how much that saved in our landfill, and I think it did quite a bit because we had a month left in our trench, and we are on the cusp of filling that trench, and we are just a week or two away from Jill Parisi from CDHPE approving the next area fill. So right. we snuck in here, so by the hair of our chinny chin chin. So I think disbanding this, HRC is still very highly involved in the community, and I try to attend that meeting when I can, but and just keep abreast of what's going on there. But the two guys out there with our waste diversion center, recycling center, have been, they're still seeing, even during the off season, a high amount, and we still see a large amount of cardboard, especially that's going into our landfill. So I always have a public service announcement at the end about recycling, and please, it's only 300 feet over, it's only 100 yards over, so divide it out, give it to help us out. So anyway,
another point to make on that is it's neat that we're able to ship our trash to another state and not have to pay to do that. It's making its own way to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's good to get the cardboard in there as well as the metals. Okay.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Motion?
I'll stay off of this one.
I make a motion that we adopt the Custer County Resolution number 25-02 and for the recycling disbanding in Custer County Recycling Committee, excuse me.
I'll second. Any other discussion? Here, table, out here. Anything online? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt Custer County Resolution 2502, a resolution disbanding the Custer County Recycling Committee. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Just to sign.
That's the official.
Okay.
Wilson Jarvis.
Go ahead, Wilson.
I just want to, as retiring chair of Custer County Recycles, I just want to reinforce what Commissioner F has said. We had it's been a little over 3 years ago that we formed this committee with the whole idea of waste diversion. And I think we've been very successful at doing that. We've got two great guys now, county employees, running that center. And I was calculating, we've diverted over 160 tons of waste from the system. I think that's amazing. And I want to especially thank the board members who all volunteered their time to make this happen. We were able to build a center. We were able to buy a compactor to put in there, all through non-matching grants. Didn't cost the county a cent. And we also built a storage facility. Bottom line, I think we have accomplished what this committee was put together for. And I just appreciate the follow-up that we're getting from the community now. We have 10 to 15 volunteers, couldn't do it without them. And as Commissioner Epps said, the numbers just keep going up and up as our community becomes more and more aware of diverting waste. So thanks very much to the community.
Thank you, Wilson.
Yeah, thanks, Wilson.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is the Fair Board. You bring him in.
You're over the Fair Board.
Ted, you're it.
I just wondered if you passed it along.
I can't take them all.
Yeah, you did so much.
All right, so we've got
Just this one.
for the one that's on. Okay, the board has unanimously approved adding how do you pronounce that? Njoli Skiing to the Fair Board. We're excited to have her, and commissioners, with commissioners' approval, we'll have her join the February meeting. The emails preceding include her interest in the board, and if there's any other questions, we can talk to her. I didn't have any, did you?
Nope, I will just make a motion that we approve Njoli Skeen to adding her to the Fair Board.
I'll second. All right, it's been moved and seconded to add Njoli Skiing to the Fair Board. Any discussion? Any points here?
We're good.
All in favor, say aye. Paul?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, next out of the chute.
I will do this one.
Okay. Oh, you will, okay.
Yeah.
Lucas,
Yes.
the candidate is here, just so she can introduce herself.
Oh, Lauren, would you just like to speak?
Sure,
For
sure.
yourself?
Would you like me to come up there?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Okay.
Turn around and project.
I'll do my best. I've been a little under the weather the past few days, so yell at me if you can't hear me. Hello, my name is Lauren Austin. My husband Sean and I purchased from Bianca, former Ravens on Main, now Westcliff Suites on Main. We plan to continue the same business plan, doing short-term rentals throughout the summer, and then during the off-season, trying to do some extended stays. We are very much in favor of continuing tourism in the off-season. Like John said, there's a holiday every month. So let's make use of that, in my opinion. I'm really excited to be part of Westcliff and hopefully the tourism board. My family's background in the West Coast. My grandfather was a pretty big cattle farmer with, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of head, like nationally recognized as like the like champions, I guess. I don't know, I used to show his cattle when I was a little kid, and he would be like, here, go in the ring and walk them around, but my cousins did the big shows like up in Denver and whatnot, so I'm very familiar with the ag industry. My personal background is in medicine. I went to medical school, but with COVID said I'm done. And we have a almost 3-year-old son. If you see a little kid walking up and down Main Street with a red shovel, that is my child. He takes snow shoveling very seriously. So if you need somebody to shovel for you in a couple years, keep Aiden Austin in mind. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions afterwards and we can talk.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. This is a tourism ex officio member appointment that is requested. And any other discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor of appointing Lauren Austin as an ex officio member of the tourism board, say aye.
We need a motion.
Yeah.
I move it.
Oh, you move it? Then I'll second it.
Then I will. Call that. All in favor, say aye. Lucas.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Kanda, aye.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, who gets to jump the gun on this one?
So this is, every year we get our highway use tax fund mileage that they based our highway use tax fund on. And it's 127 miles of arterial streets, 232 miles of local streets, 360 total miles of HUT eligible streets, that's highway use tax. Just over 20 miles of non-HUT eligible streets maintained by others, and then 13 miles of non-HUT eligible streets not maintained. I think the number was just right around $1.5 million that we got in HUTF funds into road and bridges budget this year. So 1.5 of their 2.4 million budget comes from HUTF. It's around 770,000 comes from the 5 mil property tax, and then the rest is PILT funds. And there's every time you license your vehicle, there's some of those fees that go into there, and there's some other small collection fees that funds that road and bridges balance. The highway, the gas tax in Colorado was set in 1993 at 22 cents and has stayed there ever since. It has not gone up. It is, and Dan, maybe you know this, but I believe it's capped by Tabor as well. It would have to go back out to the voters
Oh, that must have.
to approve that. So in our CCI conference, the Arapahoe basically road department director told us that based upon inflation, we should be about 44 cents now, 45 cents. And we've probably left $1.4 billion on the table, so to speak, that the taxpayers haven't paid in. So this is why when I talk to every county that I talk to, road and bridge is becoming a real problem. Some counties are doing 0.5% sales tax in their county, and they're directing that straight into their road and bridge funds. It's kind of just where we're at. I just wanted to paint a picture so kind of everybody kind of knows where we're at. And this is, we do the best we can, and strategizing with all of our departments is really important for all of us. So.
And you've heard me say it too, we maintain enough roads, if you stretched them out, we'd be in Albuquerque with a grader.
That's right.
Back. So, a lot of roads, a lot of cost, with only 16 employees, I think, currently maybe 19.
But who wants to go to Albuquerque?
No, we want to go in circles in this county, that's how much.
And the speed of that grader is about 3 to 5 miles an hour, so if you want to go to Albuquerque, we can borrow one.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
I'll move to approve the Colorado Department of Transportation Custer County signature sheet for the HUTF miles.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion, any questions? Go ahead.
Kathy Griffin, so Lucas, the issue that you brought up about you have to change Tabor to get that changed. Do we as citizens go to our representatives?
Yeah, that would be
That's the one to
yeah, that would be a
drive the
state
change?
ballot
State
issue.
rep or Senator Baisley
So
and
Mark Baisley or Stephanie
Stephanie
Luck
Luck.
represents our area.
It would have to, it would be two ways, either it would have to be a referendum from the state legislature placed on the ballot, or it could be an initiative, which is put on the ballot by petition.
Yeah.
So that'd be one of those two ways.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
Sure.
Okay, all in favor of approving the UTF sheet as presented for the state of Colorado? Say aye. Lucas?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Kanda, aye. Well, he's signing that. Let's see what's up next. We got the electronic transfer. You want to take a break?
Yes, please.
So let's do that, and then we'll get into the Electronic Recording Technology Board grant application.
That's scary.
All right, we're back in order, because the meeting now will go on with the next item, which is the Electronic Recording Technology Board Grant Application. You on?
Yep, it's working.
It's worth,
Okay, who's doing that?
what is this? What do you say? 30.
Grant F.S. Kelly.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is a grant that I am applying for. Whenever somebody records, I feel like I'm yelling. Whenever somebody records a document, in my office, they pay a $3 surcharge fee. $1 of that fee stays in the county and I use it for, to pay for different recording stuff. And then $2 of it goes into a fund up at the state. This electronic recording technology board manages that. And the reason they did that was when we all had to go to online documents and recording, and this fund helps out the smaller counties that don't have the money to kind of manage some of the stuff that we're required to do with that. So this is the second time I've applied for grant funding out of this. I'm asking for $144,856.34. Of that money, I'm gonna buy a new scanner for our recording system. It will help, we call it the black hole, in our online recording where there's a few documents that got missed the first time that we scanned everything and got it online, so we're gonna finish that up. And then, in this grant, I'm also asking for money to reimburse us for, what we have paid, for, the recording maintenance and system, and then the online documents, for 22, 23, 24, and then part of 25, which is a pretty big chunk. So, that's what I'm doing.
You said you applied for it twice, this is the
This
second
is
time?
the second time, actually, this is the third time. The first time, was a even bigger chunk because we were doing all of the scanning of all the documents to get them all.
Conversion. Okay, and you want to make a motion? Got a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the Campus Custer County Clerk and Recorder's request for electronic recording technology board grant. Is there a number I need to look at?
There it is.
No, that's fine.
That's okay.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the application for the Electronic Recording Technology Board for the clerk. Any discussion now? Here.
So what are we gonna do moving forward after 25?
For money?
Yeah. Does the
So-
$1 isn't gonna cover it, is it?
No, it doesn't. Remember I think we did that the end of December when we did the resolution to transfer, I think it was 2,000. That's all it covered,
Okay.
for last year.
Okay.
So typically, this is in my budget,
Mhm.
and I budget for it that way. So, yeah. this-
Oh, yeah, because we usually budget around $15,000 to $18,000 somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the county pays for it. This grant allows us to get some of that back.
Okay. Okay.
And, I will probably, I if I remember right, I think it sunsets in 28, maybe, so, I may have tried to apply for it one more time before. And has sunsetted before, and we've been able to get it extended, so we may do that, because it really helps out the smaller towns.
Is it the fee structure that sunsets, or?
Yes,
Okay.
so we wouldn't collect that $2 anymore
Okay.
that goes to the state.
Okay,
Just our own,
just our
Our
dollar.
own fee.
Okay.
or is that $1 fixed by statute?
Yes.
Yes.
It is fixed.
Bummer.
I just need to reinstate, have a motion.
Yeah, we've had a motion, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Jim?
Yeah, I have a question. Does the board have to co-sign or something on the application? Why are you even considering this?
So all grants need to go through the commissioners. A motion needs to be made for every grant that goes through, so we capture it up and it goes through the finance department.
For every application?
Every application
Every
for a grant.
successful acquisition?
Well,
Request.
we are the only ones that can spend the money, Jim, so we have to approve the resolution and put it in and spend.
Well, Kelly and others have put in to apply for money.
Right.
They don't have it yet.
Right.
And if the board, I don't understand why the board is involved in the application process versus simply the allocation process once it's successfully done.
It's certainly beyond legal need, it's always helpful to have the Board of County Commissioners stamp of approval on any grant application, just to show that it's a unified front, and it's not some, elected official acting without having consulted with people who have to spend the money or appropriate the money.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah.
Just a second. So that's true, and we also supported it with a letter from all the departments. Okay, John?
Just a comment, John Van Dorn, a lot of these grants have a match involved, so there is a commitment of county funds associated with the application. So those certainly need to have the approval of the board. And I think it's just a good policy for you to have visibility into all the grant applications.
Well, we have to track them all for our auditor, for all the departments. And that's why we've got it set up that way.
We got to dig for that once or twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Kathy Griffin, and Kelly, why wouldn't you apply for this grant every year to recoup money spent?
I probably could, I think amongst the small counties, we try to kind of, because we don't have an unlimited amount of money.
Okay.
And so, other counties that are trying to, purchase equipment or, things like that, we try to kind of,
Work together
Yes,
to
yeah.
spend the money where
Yeah.
it's most
we
needed.
had a big project this year, so, yeah.
Interesting, thank you.
Yeah, we're converting to the 21st century. Late. Joining them. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Lucas? Aye. Paul?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
Thank you.
data. Okay, well, next up is our scholarship, Opportunity Scholarship Initiative. You got that one? Okay, this is, I'll bring it up. It's to the Director of the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, Colorado Department of Higher Education. You want to do this?
No, go ahead.
Okay, this is to that department. It says, please accept this letter of support on behalf of the Custer County Board of Commissioners for the application being submitted for the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, county matching scholarships. We have again partnered with the Wet Mountain Rotary Club to raise matching dollars for the distribution of funding available of approximately $2,900 through the matching student scholarships grant for Custer County. This is the only application that will be made for this funding on our behalf. We look forward to working with the Wet Mountain Valley Rotary and Custer County School District to increase access and affordability to higher education for the residents of Custer County. And that would be signed by the chairman of the board. So that's the proposal that we sign this letter, and I will take a motion.
I will move to, approve that we, match the dollars for the $2,900, our match is half of that, for the matching student scholarships grant for Custer County.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, any questions here?
So that half comes out of the commissioner's outreach fund that we have. And there's definitely less in there this year than there has been in years past, but that was covered, because I figured we'd want to do it again, so.
It's $1,800.
Yeah, roughly somewhere right there, so. Okay.
Questions, discussion? Anybody online? Okay, hearing none, all in favor for approving this, say aye. Lucas?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Kanda? Aye. All right. The underground aquifer, what is that?
So that's your buddy Jimmy McMahon, because I guess last meeting, you said
What's the
something about the
underground
underground aquifer.
You threw that one
I
out.
guess we should have taken this one off.
And
It's not
He
an
wanted to
aquifer.
know
All I
what was
pointed
going
out
on.
that there's a lake under this county, it's not an aquifer.
Oh.
It's because of the mountains on both sides, and it is actually 6,000 feet deep. That's been proven and drilled, and the Upper Arkansas Valley knows that. Was this just, he just wanted to know what it was?
Yeah, he wanted to know, he said the valley ranchers were riled up, and he wanted to know
Well, we'll have
what
to
you
have
were
Jimmy-
talking
well, he'll
about.
have to come and talk.
And I said I couldn't speak for you, so.
Well, then have him talk to me first.
I told him that, he said he didn't want to call you, so.
Is that right? Well, I'll just call
On
him.
the internet.
So
Debbie?
I just forwarded the three of you an article which is in a report from the USGS on
Geological
groundwater
survey. Yeah.
hydrology
Yeah.
for the Wet Mountain Valley.
Sure.
So it's a current report,
Yeah,
so maybe it
we'll send
answers
that to him.
Jimmy's question.
It's a fact, and actually what we're gonna do, and I've mentioned this before, I am the member of the Upper Arkansas Valley Conservancy District, and I have asked them, and they are gonna come, and they'll give a presentation to the whole county on everything, including the underground water supply that we have. Make sure that's.
Not enough.
It's not an aquifer.
Something to be available to everybody
Should be.
Can we make it available for everybody?
We can post it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I just I'll send it to
Send it to
you.
Caitlin.
It is on the USGS.gov website.
And it's probably on the Upper Arks website.
Here's the wildlife comment.
Got a line,
Okay.
who is it?
Rob Clark.
Hey, Rob, you're up.
Okay, yes, sir, thank you. In regards to the aquifer, I mean, I'm from New York and I know it takes years and years and years to get down there, God forbid you dumping stuff, but it does happen because I've seen it. And I'm in the Centennial Ranch and I have noticed people out here dumping and stuff. I brought it up to the board. They just gaffed it off, and I also brought it to the sheriff's department, and they have no jurisdiction over. So I just want to, bring that to your guys' attention also.
Great, thanks. Actually, Rob, if that's the case, report it to the Public Health Agency because the sanitation officer is there, and if there is an issue with underground, whatever that trash is, polluting the underground water, which has happened in the past.
Okay, bring that up to who now, you said?
Board of Health. Go to the Public Health Agency, call up Sarah Bertelson, she's the director, and you can discuss it with her and get the sanitation officer involved, and they can go out and take a look, Rob.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. You bet.
And if you
Well,
want
that's
to share.
your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the aquifer. Yeah. We've got Brian Anderson in the back. Come on up, Brian, you're up. The next item is the consideration of the airport gates modification contract, and it is gates. There's 3 gates that Brian can talk about. He'll also talk about the funding on the gates.
How you doing? Morning, everyone.
It's Brian Anderson, airport chairman.
Up in the hot seat here.
Speak loud.
And be a speaker. Okay, well, I appreciate the opportunity to come in. I just came back from the Colorado Airport Operator Conference last night.
Where was it?
Up in Denver. And there was a legislative piece of that where the state legislators show up. The Colorado Department of Transportation Division of Aeronautics also held their board meeting while I was up there, and
You can turn that one.
they talk about the total funding, what the initiatives are going on. So I've brought you a couple of goodies here to take a look at. Most germane to what we're talking about is the budget and what's going on with the grants with respect to the gate improvements at the airport. As you know, we've recently got about a 99% completion on the wildlife fencing, and I brought a photo to show you how effective that's been so far. The airport grounds buffet is closed, and there's probably a herd of 20-plus deer that are standing there looking through the fence going, why me? So that's been very, very effective. There is a statewide initiative to help control wildlife. We got about a 45-minute brief yesterday from USDA wildlife representative who she goes out throughout the state to help mitigate the chance of a mid-air impact with a bird, with a runway incursion. They have a huge initiative going on. They do everything for spray for grasshoppers because it's, grasshoppers bring in the sparrows flock over the runway, the airplane hits the runway, and down she goes. So there's everything from that to eagle and hawk mitigation. That's through what they call harassment to try and just run them off.
Put a scarecrow up.
They do trap them and move them at least 75 miles away, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, this wildlife initiative is a huge part of USDA at the federal level and also at the state level. If you would take a look on getting back to the gates, I think it's about the 3rd page. I put a star by our airfield, which is Charlie 08. At first blush, it looks like some fuzzy math. So I went back to the state last night and got an answer from Caitlin Westendorf, who's Division of Aeronautics. If you see, there's a line there that the state grant to do the airfield gate improvement is $50,000. The local match would be $55,56. So if you first blush, you do 10%, it doesn't work.
Why is it $500?
The total grant is $55,556. So they decrement the first 10% comes over to the county, and then they pick up the 50,000, probably to keep their books round.
Yeah.
There's a guess.
Easier math for them.
Does this mean that the county is obligated to spend all 5556? No. That is a grant that is up to and not to exceed that amount. That grant was based on going in and requesting it, number one, working through our capital improvement program, which we forecast out for 5 years. Looking at the wildlife fencing, The investment that was made in the wildlife fencing, not by the county per se, but through the private entities that went ahead and funded the fence. And so the state recognized that effort at the local level. They saw that private donation as the same as if it would be the county pitching in the money, which it is. So that's how we get to the match there. We have received 3 bids, one through no action, but one bid was for one gate. There are 3 gates that need to be improved. There are 2 main gates which service primarily the Custer County Airport, Silver West Airport. There's another gate that services the ramp that allows access to the air park individuals. At first, the state said the air park gate was there for the convenience of the folks that are residents at the air park, and therefore is not of their interest financially to try to improve. Why do we need to improve the gates? We have now an 8-foot fence all the way around and a 4-foot gate, so you can see the problem.
And smart deer.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Adaptable at the least. So it would make little sense to make that huge investment for the 22,000 linear feet of fence that was improved and not improve the gates. So our plan was to just enhance the height. They are aluminum gates, therefore relatively light compared to a steel gate. We went out, got one bid for one gate, came back at $70,000, not considered. Another entity out of Pueblo said they would bid, never returned a bid. That's the no bid. And then we ultimately got a bid from a local individual, Jeremy Craig, for the 2 gates, the 2 main gates. We asked him to break it out in case the state would not fund the 3rd gate if they were intransigent on that point. So for the first 2 gates, his bid came in at $11,942, somewhat less than $70,000. And then for the 3rd gate, which was what they called the homeowner association gate, the state did, that bid came in an additional $8,742. So in round numbers, math and public, we've got 9,000-ish, and we have 12,000-ish. So we're at 21,000 for the gate improvement, should the contract be approved by the commissioners.
And a total was $20,985.
Okay, thank you for the math correction there. So within that money, and I discussed this with the state yesterday, we have the latitude to improve those gates. The initial read is the motors that are on there, the chains that are on there, the pulley system that are on there are up to the task of handling the additional weight. We all know what's really going to happen. So we are able to use this grant to make all gate improvements. So we had the initial contract of 20,000, blah, blah, blah. And we have the potential to go ahead and upgrade the motors, and that would be a separate contract that has not been let. Again, we could spend up to the 50,000 plus the match, 55, 56, but we don't necessarily need to do that. In working with the state, showing them that we had the lower bid and that we did our due diligence to bring this in at a lower cost, they agreed to go ahead and fund the 3rd gate. So that should benefit the homeowners that are at the private air park. It benefits the airport, the Custer County Airport as well, for fire access, larger equipment. It's a win-win-win the way it's cast right now. Some additional background, if I have a couple of minutes, just to tell you, this airport grant system, it's called the Colorado Discretionary Aviation Grant Program, CDAG. This year, working in arrears, 2024, it was 3.6 million was raised to expend on administrative costs, statewide aviation initiatives, et cetera. 16 million went to airport grants. So all of this money is generated primarily out of DIA, Denver International, and it's tax that's levied on the commercial users there, not private users. And that tax is on the flowage of jet fuel to United, American, all the other air carriers up there. They're flowing about 46 to 50 million gallons per month. So in round numbers, 600 million gallons a year times the small percentage they charge adds up to some $29 million per year that can go out via the grant system to airports.
Which is great, it's not grants that are generated by taxing our taxpayers in the state.
Correct.
It's money coming in
It's travelers.
all around.
You buy a ticket, then that's how you.
Right.
It's important to note this isn't federal dollars. This is state money. And this state money is already there. It's already obligated, ready to write the check. It's not federal money. It's not theoretical money. It's not, we're going to print some more money. It's already there. So we try at the airport board to really leverage what is out there. And we've been quite successful with that over the past 4 years. I'm going to leave this behind with you in case you want to just review where it's gone. You will see on this handout that I gave you other airports that are in the state. One more key point, and then I'll field your questions. We do not, at the Custer County Airport, we do not qualify for federal funds. There's two types of airfields, basically, NIPIAS, non-NIPIAS. You know, what's the acronym? It's the National Aerospace System that feeds it. We only can apply for state, county, local funds. We do not qualify for federal funds. And
Because we're too close to the highway.
we can't be certified as a NIPIAS airfield, NPIAS, that's your homework, because of setbacks from the highway, et cetera, et cetera. Decisions that were made long before anyone in the stream. So we rely heavily on the state grant system.
It's actually probably better because there's more hoops to jump through on the federal side.
If you do
and
get-
you're not eligible for the state.
If you do take federal funds, there's a tail with that, which could be onerous for our county because they could mandate certain upgrades and then go, here's your match.
Yeah.
So that's not in the best interest of Custer Countyans, in my opinion. What are your questions?
I have one. You're talking about the gates with the motors and the chain and everything. Does that also include the structure of the gate, the rails and everything, when the weight goes on it? We don't want to have to go back and fix the structure part.
We've asked the gentleman that has bid on that to look at all of that, to make sure that we have the supporting mechanisms, the pulleys, the wheels, the strength.
I didn't want to go out there just.
Correct, yeah, that would be a bad report. We are looking at all of those things. Of course, pulleys wear out, the bearings, the greasing and all of that. So we anticipate expending more dollars. I don't have that figure for you, but should the BOCC approve, going forward with this, approve the contract, then we'd come back with the next phase that would go. It would be similar to an IDIQ contract that has different phases to it. So we could possibly do indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity on this contract. Phase one would be the gate improvement itself. Phase two could be motors. We also have to do additional signage and put on a gate, and that's been approved by the state as well.
And that's covered.
In the grant.
So we've been awarded the 50,000.
Yeah.
Correct. It was
Up to the 50,000. If we
Correct.
don't spend the 50,000.
It's, and they bank it for us, so.
There is no obligation to spend $1.
Okay.
However, we have a plan, and that has been approved. It's up to not to exceed 50 with the 50,000, with the 55, 56 match.
Okay.
And so if we only expend a total of 25,000 out there, then it's a $2,500 match.
Initially, and then if we have to maintain it, which they'll allow us to do changes in the future, motors burn out or it's not a big enough motor to get it.
What other questions do you have?
I got a point to make on the contract, and then we can talk other questions. It says fabricate and install 3 gate extensions at Silver West Airport. It should be 2 gate extensions and a complete fabrication of a 3rd gate. So I think.
No, sir. He plans to add to the top of that gate. And
Well, I thought there's one without any gate.
He, the contractor, Jeremy Craig, told Clyde, our airport manager, that he has a method to go around that top pulley so that when the gate cantilevers out, he can still manufacture that.
Oh, really? Okay, so it is just gate extension. We can leave it like it is. All 3 gate extensions.
All contractor promises, we've all built something, so that's why we got that cushion in there.
No changes.
Yeah, good.
That's the plan.
Okay, but so that extra what was it, $9,000? Yeah, it was for that.
That extension to the top of the gate.
Modification.
Correct.
Costs more money.
Correct.
Okay.
And that happens to be the largest gate.
I know, it's huge.
That's why there's a delta between the 2 gate repair and the 3rd gate repair.
Okay. All right, well, good, I'm glad.
Good.
All right, any other questions up here?
Where are we, what was your plan on the matching? Where were you planning on pulling that?
We have a part of that in our ops and maintenance budget that we can pull. We can redirect a couple of lines for that.
And that's 2,000 and.
We could do the initial part. Yes. The 2,085 we would take out of our existing budget.
The repairs and maintenance part?
Yes, sir. And if we go above that, we may ask for a small plus up to help cover that. We will look for ways internally first to see if we can redirect a line. And if we can rescope a line and change a line within our authority, we won't come back. If we can't do it, then we'll come back hat in hand and ask for another 2,000 or whatever.
Capital improvement.
Correct.
Right. So my suggestion is this is a capital improvement project, and we take it
From the capital improvement.
from the capital improvement cash reserve fund. We didn't put anything in the report this year for that. This is, kind of all came out. But I would say we pull $5,000 or the 55, whatever the match is, the grant for the full amount. And we pull that into capital improvement. Whatever you don't use of that, will just then go back into the cash balance. And then we keep our capital improvement projects in our capital improvement fund.
Did that with road and bridge.
We leave this budget alone, leave the budget where it is. We can continue to operate through this year, doing what you need to do to operate properly. And we put capital improvement money where it needs to go. It would be a motion that, so I guess I will,
So that would be,
well, a bit of a budget amendment resolution too, but I would just add it to the motion to accept this, that we pull the matching funds.
Okay, go ahead and make a motion.
So I'll make the motion to accept this independent contractor agreement to add to the 3 gates, current gates that are at the airport, and that we pull the matching funds for this grant out of capital improvement.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, been moved and seconded to accept the independent contract agreement to fabricate and install the 3 gate extensions and use the capital improvement fund to do it. Okay, any discussion?
Might you also include the future, you said the gate extensions, but we have those maintenance items as well.
Well,
that
but
come into there.
that can be a separate, you're gonna come back with a separate contract. Okay, any other up here first? Go ahead.
Okay, Bob Fulton, I'll just let you know, you never worked with Jeremy, I've worked with him for probably 25 years on big projects, so I have, he'll do you right. Done a lot of stuff.
That's good to know.
He's here.
I have personal experience working with them as well, and it's always been top notch.
Supposed to be able to let you know that.
Thank you, Bob. Any other comments, anything online? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the accepting the contract, the independent contractor agreement as discussed with modifications now need, except that we're gonna pull it out of the capital improvement fund. Say aye. Oops. Aye. Aye. Kanda, aye. Thank you, Brian, good job.
Thank you. I
Nice,
appreciate the
nice sweet
opportunity.
talking at the state level.
And we enjoy a great relationship with the state folks up there, and they are very happy with what we do here in this county.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Brian, thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
This one to sign. Yeah, I can sign. All right, next up is the consideration of the finance director position. Lucas, you're on this guy.
So, I think we've considered this, we've gone out, we've advertised, we've spent this whole last year, kind of talking about it, kind of discussing it. We've had an employee in the position as an interim for the last year, kind of took over there about mid-December, got us through a pretty rough patch. We do have a lot of work to do. We've got decades of things that we should have corrected and didn't. I think we are on a path to correct a lot of these things. And so I'd really like to move this employee into the full-time finance director position so that we can get these HR, finance, and IT really these three support departments going in the right direction, and start building them up, start developing them, start training them up, start correcting some of things that we were lacking in the past. I still will, as long as I'm in here, keep Redlands Consulting or another contractor as a backup accountant and monthly auditor of our finances moving forward. And then, start really looking at all the tasks that are enveloped in the finance and accounting world or system, and how we want this finance department to look in time, but it's, so with that being said, I will make the motion to approve Vernon Roth as our finance director, full-time, and at the salary of $95,000, and that's my motion.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to offer Vernon Roth the position of finance director with full-time exempt position at $95,000 a year. Any discussion?
I've got a letter here from a citizen, if you guys would like me to read this now. This was, good evening, gentlemen. I'm writing both in my capacity as a member of the Finance Director Search Committee and as a Custer County citizen. In In regards to the matter of consideration of hiring Vernon Roth for this position, I want to express my strong support for him being selected to permanently fill that role. Vernon has more than proven his ability to perform the job and has exceeded all reasonable expectations regardless of formal credentials. I don't even believe he should be required to eventually earn an accounting degree just to check a self-imposed box. Intellect and capability speaks for itself, in my opinion. He has more than proven his ability to perform the job at a superior level and should be hired to fill the long outstanding vacancy. I cannot attend BOCC meetings, but I give my permission for one of you as my proxy to read this email publicly as my formal endorsement of Vernon to be hired for Finance Director. Thank you for your time and consideration. Kind regards, Becky Olson.
Who is a CPA?
Who's got a master's degree
in accounting. Okay, any other discussion up here? We'll open it up.
Just a point of view is that to bring someone in from the outside and try to get them up to speed on the inputting of the financial budget and everything. When Vernon started this as the IT, it had to be reworked all the way through. And he's been part of that. And now to make him the director, then we could just carry on from there. If we bring anybody in, there's gonna be a learning curve that is tough. I've done that before. It's not real easy to do. So that's why I just want to put that out there that I kind of agree with the actual letter of recommendation that he has jumped through all the hoops. That's my comment.
Yeah, and I will echo that. As a matter of fact, he's done yeoman work as the IT guy. To get the machine going alone was significant because that's what we're going to use. It had a lot of problems, and we had a lot of training to do to teach the departments how to do it, and it's come along a long way. So I fully endorse that too. So I'll open it up for any comments out here. Jim first.
Yeah, one comment. I think it's I think it's an obvious solution and very well earned. The only comment I really have is it was mentioned that Redlands should be kept as a backup. Sounds to me like Redlands is your accounting support unless you decide to hire someone directly on. And the combination between as a person standing and looking at managing a problem, not understanding necessarily the accounting or whatever. The combination of Vernon and Redlands is highly efficient. It's been what it did exactly what you needed. It got everything tied up to the point of almost lack of concern about it being okay because you knew it was going to be okay between the two of them. So I would encourage, until you decide you want to hire an accountant or something, to maintain Redlands. You already did it for a year anyway, so.
Yeah, point on that is it's more than an accountant. She's also an auditor who provides that function. That's what enables us to go forward. And so we would probably keep reading if we had an accountant. And that's been recommended on different accounting levels. John
Van Dorn. I was on that committee. I just wanted to give you a little history. We had 2 rounds where we went out looking for candidates. First round, we got 6 applicants, none of which we were having a conversation with. In the second round, we raised the salary limit, and I think we got 1 candidate who was marginal. And turned out on investigation to have some serious issues. At that point in time, my recommendation is we had 2 choices. We either raise the salary limit to $200,000, or we go with Vernon backed up by Redlands, which I think is excellent compromise at this point in time. Actually, I don't think it's really even a compromise. stepped up and is willing to increase his educational level. And Redlands as a backup, as our expert, just makes perfect sense. So I fully support making this move.
Good, thank you. Anybody online?
Yes.
Go ahead, what's the name?
Stacy Terrell.
Stacy, is that the first one? Terrell, yeah, Stacy, go ahead, Stacy.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Roger that.
Okay, great. So this is Stacy Terrell. I am the director of Custer County Kids Council, which is a department under the county. As a county employee, I have been working with 3 different finance directors at the county, and Vernon has really stepped up and made my job easier as an actual director and department. I appreciate the idea and concept of keeping Redlands on as well from an audit standpoint. We are a flow through of the county, and so we are audited ourselves by the Department of Early Childhood, and having Redlands to be able to check our checks and balances with the counties and ours with the state has been extremely helpful over this last year. So I'm just as an county employee and department head very grateful to the Board of County Commissioners to have made this decision and move forward with Vernon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, no other comments, then it's been moved and seconded to hire Vernon Roth as our county finance director. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Carry on. Okay, thank you everybody on that. Next up, review and consideration of the contract for our interim county attorney services. And that would be, I'll bring it up here. So the candidate that we've been considering is Rachel Maxim. Rachel is an attorney that's been involved in a lot of municipal county business supporting counties that have been similar to ours. And she has recently, her family has moved up here and has a place that in Old Mingo, I think, is where they're located. I'm not sure. Her family is, and she has a practice in Colorado Springs. And so this is a great opportunity. She looked at this as a way to help us understand a lot of the problems we've had with lawsuits in the past on things. She actually represented Donna Hood, or Jackie Robbie, I should say, Donna Hood, on that. So she's had experience and understands how to keep the county out of trouble. That's what she wants to do, to try to help us in the interim while she's here. And then initially had no desire to become a county attorney writing resolutions for her career, but took a look at this as an opportunity to grow and help the county that she's now adopted as her home. And then it allows us the time to put a notice out and compete the job in the future. So that's the point right now, and we've got the contract we've looked over and the current rates as well. It's in the back of the pay package, which you can take a look at. It's comparable to what we are paying now for services. It's a $5,000 a month, not quite lump fee, $100 an hour rate for grade 2 for services, and a $60 an hour associated counsel, et cetera. So it's broken down to some different places. It's the same as Dan was doing, rate-wise.
But at least 43% higher.
Yeah. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Lucas has looked at that too, right? All right. Any other thoughts on it?
With a month flat fee, I don't know how many hours I'm getting in that. And so I don't know what my rate is. If we only use 10 hours a month, that's $500 an hour. We're not doing $500 an hour worth of work type stuff here.
Over everything that we've done.
So that's probably what bothers me the most about this interim contract is, and I like the billing at 20 minutes or 15-minute increments, and detailed bills. Just handing over $5,000 a month is a little hard pill to swallow, right? And that's probably been my biggest concern over this is I just don't know how many hours I'm getting. Am I getting for sure hours? And then, it'd be easier then to go, well, yeah, I'm already into the rate 2 services because I've used the 5,000 up, and I'm like, but what have we gotten for it? I don't know. That's where I struggle with this.
So we haven't,
contract.
this is the
Maybe
first
not
time.
the person, but the contract.
This is the first time we've had to discuss it, so there's no this is not the final either. We can negotiate that, so we probably need to have some comment.
Yeah. I would have to see what we're tracking on the fees that we have currently, find out if it marries up.
Yeah.
Well,
I can give you numbers if you want.
Yeah.
Right now, in 2024, for my hours, they average $3,290 a month.
3,000.
$3,290 a month.
Okay.
Now, I'm on an hourly basis, I'm not on a flat fee, but that's what that turned out. Some months were higher, you look at that, my last bill, it was, under $2,000.
Yeah.
One other point about this contract is that it doesn't include litigation. As the board knows, we have expanded our enforcement and planning and zoning issues. That's litigation. So that would be amounts that you would be paying in addition to the $5,000 a month. So at $5,000 a month, that's,
$60,000.
Right, $60,000. The 2025 budget you approved had a $42,000 budget, which, by the way, I came out under, which I normally do for my new government appliances. I come out under budget on your attorney line items. And so you'd be over budget by at least 43% with this number. I've got a lot of other concerns.
Yeah. Well, that's good, thank you.
no,
No, that's a good point. And also, since she started looking into this, she has changed her opinion of what she wants to do with her career. So that may have an impact on exactly what you're saying here. We do need to get back to it. Right?
Okay.
And then bounce it against what Dan just pointed out.
Well, I continue to have questions as to why there's a need for a change in the first place. The only issue that's ever been raised has been resolved with the retention of attorney for DHS. So a prior board made that decision, not this board. And this board appointed me last week as the county attorney. Again. I think that's something the board maybe needs to revisit as to whether there's a need for a change in the first place.
If we talk, I have a perceived concern, and maybe it's because I don't understand the legalities on conflict of interest or perception of conflict of interest. I still have a concern there, and is that an executive session type conversation?
It would be.
It would be.
So maybe we need to discuss that in
Yeah, I think first we need to talk to her and figure out what the options are so we can discuss that against our concerns in an executive session.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we'll table this.
I agree.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to table this review and consideration of contract for interim county attorney service.
Till we've been able to accomplish the 2 items we've talked about.
Till we can, yes, have an executive session with our current county attorney and review an RFP decide to do that.
Is that the motion?
That's the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Then moved and seconded to table it. Keep it for discussion.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor? Lucas?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Kanda, aye. Online comment, who is it? Hey, Rob, you're on again.
Yes, quick one. I mean, I know you tabled and everything, but can we put our 2 cents in before you guys table it, or?
Too late.
What's his 2
Nope.
cents?
Yeah, you can make a comment though, Rob, if you want.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my comment would be, you know, the gentleman sitting, I guess, to your right, as the way you're sitting, Mr. Dan Slater. I think he's done a great freaking job for the county as far as what I see come forward here on the Board of Commissioners meeting. So, I mean, I don't see why. I mean, I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but as far as I'm concerned, I think he's doing a great job for the county. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, thanks, that's good 2 cents. Might have been 2 bits.
Quarter worth.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's the end of the agenda. Any additional items?
So just my public service announcements, recycling, you know, you're out there in the community, please continue to try to recycle what you can that we accept. Just a shout out, thank you for all our volunteers on every single one of our boards, because that's been challenged to get people for that, our posse members, you know, those who put in 6,000 hours last year and continue to put in hours. So thank you to all those. And then if you're a veteran out there, please continue to get after Dominic and get registered, what do they call it? It's not registered, but signed up, whatever, but just reach out. There's help.
Use his services.
Use the services that are available to you. So.
And they have changed. That's where you need to know what has been changed from the old way of doing business with the veteran. So there's a lot of new things in there that you need to know about.
That's it.
You got anything else?
I'm good.
Any public comment on something that we might want to know about?
Skipped over.
Anybody online?
There is not a meeting next week.
No, that's
No
right.
regularly scheduled BOCC meeting next week.
Correct.
And just for the public's information, every first week is free week, no meeting.
Correct.
So, okay. All right, with that, I'll adjourn this meeting at 11:30. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.